Okay, good. I'll record it here and then I'll turn around and download it on YouTube. That'd be better. So at least I got something. Praise be to Yahweh. Can you guys see the screen?
Okay.
Cain, awesome. So this week's Torah portion has to do with this word called aquave. Aquave. I know it's a little hard to say, but it means something. Every time we do a Torah portion, it means something. And what it means is this word called because. It has to do with because. And we saw that in our Torah portion. A lot of things happen because you do this, you do that, or the Most High was prayed to by Moshe. Moshe told the Most High that, hey, if you destroy this people, this is going to happen because people are going to think that you didn't have the power to bring them in the land. They're going to think that you didn't have the power, and they're going to think that you hated your people. So because of this, you have to do this. And he begged him to change his mind. But equave means because. A majority of this Torah portion had to do with a covenant that was given to our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which you know in Hebrew is Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And it was given by Yahweh. Yahweh has remembered the covenant that he's made with our fathers. It's very significant because it wasn't for anything that you and I or our ancestors that were in Egypt have ever done. It wasn't the people that were in the wilderness that Yah has done what he's done. We had some intercession with Moshe. He goes back and he gives an account of what he has done for the children of Israel in order to ensure them going into the land and for them to continue. So this whole entire Torah portion is about what the Most High has done and what Israel has done, right? And so there's some comparisons. And because of this, the covenant is a big part of it. Because everything that the Most High is doing is because he made a promise. That's what he talks about. I swore this to your fathers. You're going to see a lot of that. So our opening verse that we read from our Torah portion beginning on last week on Yom Rishon, it said, because you are listening to these rulings and keeping and obeying them, Yahweh, your Elohim, will keep with you the covenant and mercy that he swore to your ancestors. So that word a cave is the one that's used there for because. And so I want to talk a little bit about that in particular passage, which talks about because. The word because also has an idea that has to do with one's heel. Okay. And when we think about the heel and we think about what we've learned in the past, we've thought about our father. And what's the name of our father? Or one of our fathers? That has to do with the heel.
Jacob.
There you go. That's him, Yaakov. So what you've seen me do right there is I put a yod right here, and that's his name, Yaakov. So it has to do with the heel. Okay. So because means that you're on the heel of something. It's like an afterthought, right? It's an afterthought. It means the heel. So when we think about the heel, we need to think about Yaakov, and what the heel does is something has to happen to it. What has to happen to it is that the heel goes through this idea of being restrained. Okay, so there's a restraint that's put on the heel. When you grab someone by the heel, you're stopping them from moving forward. Okay. And so our father, if you think about when he wrestled with that Moloch, he grabbed the Moloch and he would not let the Moloch go. Just like he grabbed his brother Esau and he would not let him go. He didn't want him to go further. And as a result of that, of restraining the Malachim and restraining his brother or holding on to him, he received a reward. This is what this is about. This is about this idea of restraint. Okay, just like in your Torah portion, the Most High said, if you don't obey what he says, he's going to restrain the rain, meaning he's going to stop it from coming. Okay, so this idea of restraint is to stop you. Okay, so here, when you look at this, it's talking about because you are listening to these rulings and keeping and obeying that, that means that you have found some type of way to stop. Okay, because when you grab the heel, you're stopping something, you're restraining it. Okay, so you have some type of restraint, and this has to do with your character. Okay, if you did not do this, then you wouldn't be listening. That means that you would continue to move on. And so as you recognized in your life, you have been taking the time to listen. You have exercised some type of restraint on what you want to do and how you feel and what you want to eat. And so you're practicing restraint. And because of that, the Most High said that I'm going to give you a reward. Okay. There's a reward for listening to the Most High. There's a reward for keeping and obeying his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. There was a reward that was mentioned in chapter number 7 for obedience. And when he says that he's going to reward them, what he was letting them know is that he was going to destroy their enemies. And you're talking about a group of individuals that were greater and stronger than them, and they were going to be able to conquer them, and that was going to be the reward for them, is to go ahead and inherit the land. So the idea behind a heel, or the idea behind because, one of the concepts is restraint, which is connected to what you will call a reward, and this is the Hebrew understanding, right? I know in English it doesn't make sense because you're like, well, the word because means, because of this, as a result of, which is true in a sense, but you can't put something physical with it like a heel, or you can't physically put a hand on grabbing it or restraint. You don't understand that, right? So the Hebrew is very important for us to understand. In your Torah portion, you and I were commanded to remember everything of the way in which Yahweh had led you these 40 years in the desert, humbling and testing you in order to know what was in your heart and whether you would obey his mitzvot or not. This word remember, of course, has to do with making a reminder or to have some type of memorial. It was very important for them to understand this because as a people, they were, what you would say, homeless. They were displaced. They went out to the wilderness. They ended up staying out there for 40 years, a very long time, not being around, not being socialized with anyone else, having their eating habits change, traveling at the will of the Creator, having to learn new ways of living, having to deal with different challenges that they were faced with, yet they experienced a lot of different things. And so the Most High is trying to get the children of Israel to remember everything in which the way that Yahweh has led them these 40 years in the desert. Why is that important for us to understand? Because you will not understand why you're in the place that you're in right now if you don't understand what Yah's purpose is. Yah's purpose of doing everything that he has done to us, just like he's done something to them for 40 years, he's doing something to us for a long time in order to humble us and to test us. The goal is to know whether or not you and I are going to be loyal to him. That's what this is about. He wants to know whether or not you and I are going to be bent on doing what he said. He wants to know if you're going to keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. He wants to know if you and I are going to make up excuses. He wants to know who and when and where that you're willing to give up. This is a sacrifice that you and I have to make. It is. And by the way, it's not easy. This is not easy at all. I don't want to make it seem like this, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's not. It's very difficult. You have to reformat your life. You have to refrain from different things. You have to have some restraint on yourself. You have to exercise discipline. You have to make decisions. about, where you're going to go and how you're going to do the things that you do. You have to be careful on who you're engaged with in terms of relationships. You have to be mindful of the type of friendships that you have that can either be a hindrance for you or it can help you, move along in your life, whether or not you're being helpful in that. And you have to understand that you have a purpose and that the Most High has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth. And as a result of that, we find that the Most High uses our experiences to humble us. So with them, he used their experiences to humble them. And the purpose of that is because he's looking for results. He's looking for results. The word akev not only means because or means heal, but it also means to look for results. Okay. He's looking for some results from us. He's looking for you and I to have some type of affliction. Now, this is unpleasant, and sometimes it could be a little unsavory because we don't really understand it and we don't want to be hurt and we don't want to go through the things that we're going through our lives. We're looking for explanation for things, and sometimes we don't get the answers that we're looking for. And so that causes frustration with us because we really want to know what have I done, right? And what should I do, or how do I get out of this situation? When the children of Israel were in the wilderness for 40 years, they were that was a divine judgment upon the first generation that their descendants will walk into the wilderness for 40 years and they would bear the consequences of their ancestors' actions. It's essentially the same thing that you and I are going through right now. You're bearing the burden of your ancestors. You're bearing as a result of the consequences. Okay. Results also means consequence. It does mean that. So as a consequence or as a result of what our ancestors have done by not listening to the Most High, he's decided to use affliction to humble them. And what does it mean to humble, right? Literally what it means is to keep an eye on them, to bring them down. When a person is depressed, because that also is connected to affliction, is to be depressed. So the Most High gave them hardships and he taught them through hardships and difficulties. And that's generally the way that it's going to work for us. This is the way that it's going to work for us. I don't care how we slice it up or whatever. We want it to be easy, and it's not going to be. We have forsaken the Most High. When I say we, I talk about our nation, our people. We've abandoned him to worship other gods, and we have forsaken him, and we have forgotten about him. And we have cast his words behind us, generation after generation after generation. We have violated his Shabbat from the moment that we left the land of Mitzrayim all the way until today. Israel has not done what Yah has asked him to do. This has been a very terrible thing that's happened to us. It's been a very long time. It's been literally thousands of years, and we have not come to the point of living lives that are satisfactory to the Most High. The Most High has been very patient with us. He has not forsaken us. He has not broken the covenant that he made with us. You found in your Torah portion in chapter number 10 that he even told Moshe that I want you to take and, cut out two, what they call a colt, 2 more tablets of stone and bring it up to me. After Moshe begged him for 40 days not to destroy Israel. The 40 days that he was there, everyone, when he said he didn't eat, he didn't drink, and he was there pleading with the Most High, he pleaded every day. It wasn't just, one day of the 40 days and 40 nights, constantly asking the Most High and reminding him that, it was by your hand that you brought these people out. Don't turn and look towards their stiff-neckedness. Don't look towards their sin. Don't look towards their, the things that they're doing, the evil in which they're doing. Don't look at that. Look at and be reminded of what you have sworn to your servants, the ones who have served you, the ones who have been faithful to you, the ones that trusted you, the ones that walked after you, the ones who forsaken their families and walked to the land and trusted you and had confidence in what you said. Be reminded of that. And so the Most High was reminded of that, and of course about his power. So Yah is doing everything that he's doing for a variety of different reasons, but never because you and I deserve it. So it's tough talk and it's hard speech for us to understand. So the humility or being humbled is what's required for us as a people. And that's going to be something that we have to get used to. It says he humbled you, allowing you to become hungry. That word hungry there is not just a little growl in your stomach. He literally starved them for some time. The word is called for famine, meaning to starve. So he's done this on purpose with intention. So we are learning about Yah's ways. Yah is not someone that you and I can call on and make demands of him. Often as our master and as our father and as our husband, the Most High has to deal with us in a way to get our attention. And the only way that it seems it's working for the children of Israel, that has always been the only way, is through their affliction and through their being humbled. There's nothing wrong with being humbled. There's nothing wrong with, going through some state of depression, because it causes you to start thinking. That's what the Most High wants to do. He wants us to start thinking. And then once he puts that pressure on us and he puts that starvation on us, he puts that hunger or he puts that thirst or whatever he puts on us, is to drive us to look to him. So here he fed you with manna, meaning that the grain that only Malachim have eaten, the Most High has provided, which he says, neither you nor your ancestors had ever known. You've never had this type of food ever before. You've never been in that situation where you had to depend 100% on the Creator. They've never been put into that position. They've always had their oppressors to give them what they needed at the time that they needed. Yeah, they were not full in abundance, but if you notice, they kept talking about how much they did have when they were in their oppression. They were satisfied with the little bit that they did had, and they considered that to be full. But here the Most High is saying that your ancestors didn't know me like this. They didn't have this type of intimacy with me. The Most High didn't have to starve out Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov. They had famines at different times, but it wasn't directly aimed at them per se. I mean, he used famine to direct them to go to different places, to be strategically in the areas that they needed to be at the different times, like what you see with Yaakov, how him and his descendants went down to Egypt during a time of famine, which the Most High has caused, but he has always provided for them. He's never starved them out. So these individuals that's in the wilderness are the individuals who have experienced starvation. These are the ones whose throat was completely dry and didn't know where their help was coming from, didn't see anything in sight with their own eyes, and they had a physical experience with the Most High. It wasn't only a supernatural experience, it was a real experience. It was their reality. And so the Most High has done this so he can make them understand, or you to understand, that a person is not going to live, they will never exist on food alone. And this is something that spiritual people use as a way to be ultra spiritual, talking about, he's given us the word of God, which they would claim is some guy in the New Testament. But the Most High is speaking more about the reliance and the dependence on him. And so what he wanted them to have was not this idea of a meal through just having food, that they would be able to fill their stomachs and be satisfied. What he was after for them was for them to be able to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, because even in your word quave, which has to do with Yaakov, has to do with because, has to do with the heel, has to do with gain, and has to do with an advantage. Okay, so in spite of the affliction, they were still able to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Most High. And so with that being said, individuals like ourselves that are scattered to the four corners of the earth have to be able to look at our affliction with a different set of eyes. Our reality is that we may not have everything that we want or we think that we need. But what the Most High wants us to understand is that the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding is the goal. That's the goal. If anything that he wants us to know is the power to ask a question. If we get into a situation in our lives, we need to start asking more questions. The knowledge deals with your visual observation. He wanted them to see for themselves with their own eyes. Just like he mentioned all the time in your Torah portion that you have seen this with your own eyes. You saw what he did in the land of Mizraim. You saw what he did to Pharaoh. You saw what he did to his chariots. You saw what he did when he opened the sea. You saw him split the sea. You saw him, overwhelming the chariots. You saw Dathan and Abiram be swallowed up. You saw what the Most High done. You saw the manna. You saw the water coming out of the rock. You saw this with your eyes. You have visual observation. I'm not asking you to believe anything. I want you to know it. I want you to be wise. I want you to know. I want you to use the eyes that the Most High has given us to look and see what our situation is. When he talks about when you guys are scattered among the nations and you start thinking about what's happened to you, that thought process is taking the time in your affliction to think and to consider. And that comes by visual observation. Look at your situation. Look at where you live at. Look at what kind of work you do. Look who you're dependent on. Look what it takes for you to survive. Look at your situation. Look at your people. Look at those around you. Look at your family. Look at the diseases. Open your eyes and see and take note. And with anything, after everything you observe, it's time for us to get an understanding. It's time to be able to build in our minds, because understanding has to do with building. That's what it has to. It has to do with building the family. It has to do with structure. It has to do with stones, which you use for architecture. You have to start building. You have to build the right way. It has to do with, when it talks about building, it talks about your sons and your daughters. It talks about your family. It talks about your home. It talks about using skill. So once you've asked the right questions, you've seen what's in front of you, now you can begin to build. You can begin to build your family the right way. I want to commend a lot of you who have decided to build your family the right way. I want to commend you on making the Torah the priority of your families in your home. I want to commend you on making the right selection and choices of the mates that you decided to be with, because that's wise. That's knowledge, and that's understanding. That's wisdom. You see? So we need wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's where your gains are going to be. Our gains are going to be found in the idea of everything that's coming out of the mouth of Yah. Nothing happens without it coming out of Yah's mouth. It says that man shall not live on bread alone, but everything that comes out from the mouth of Yahweh. You see? So it's based on what he says. Nothing can happen without him saying it. I want to touch briefly on provision. In your Torah portion, you were able to see that the Most High has always taken care of Israel. While they were in the wilderness for 40 years, he said, the clothing you were wearing didn't grow old and your feet didn't swell up. The Most High has provided clothing. The Most High has provided health and wellness to them. When he talks about your feet swelling up, that has to do with their bodies. Their bodies didn't see any what you would say diseases and swellings and arthritis and all these different types of things. The Most High made it comfortable for them, okay, in that regard. It could have been a lot worse, but he didn't. It's something that should be considered. You see, you're walking around with the Creator and your clothes didn't get old. They didn't wear out in the wilderness for 40 years. For Yahweh, our Elohim, is bringing you into a good land. That's what you found in your Torah portion, chapter number 8. It said that this is a land with streams and springs and water welling up from the depths in the valleys and on the hillsides. It is a land of wheat, barley, grapevines, fig trees, pomegranates, and a land of olive oil and honey, which they would call the 7 divine blessings of the land, which is the wheat is number 1, the barley is number 2, the grapevines are 3, fig trees are 4, pomegranates are 5, and olive oil is 6, and the honey is 7. You know, there wouldn't be any streams and springs of water in the valleys without Yahweh sending the command to send the rain. in which he mentioned in the Torah that this is a land that is different from every other land, especially Mitzrayim, where you have to go out and walk and bring your water to your vegetable garden. He said, but this land is from the heavens. This one is by the command of Yah. Your Elohim is the one who fills these streams and these springs. He's the one who fills the waters in the valleys. He's the one who is going to bring the blessing of the land into you. Sometimes this doesn't appear like it's worth really anything because we're reading it from a different perspective, considering that, we go to work and we get a paycheck and it's digital. You never see the money, but you go to the store and you give them a card or some type of ID and, they put a chip on it and they'll take your money out and then you go buy the things that you buy there. And often when you bring it home, it goes bad within a week or so. It's not the highest quality. Here, what we're talking about is that which is divine, that appertains to the land in which the Most High has designated exclusively just for you. In your Torah portion, you found this idea of correction. Correction is important. The Most High cares about his children. He cares. He does. Moshe wanted us to think about it deeply. That Yahweh is disciplining you just as a man disciplines his child. And why would a man discipline his child? He would discipline his child because he loves his child. He would try to correct his child because he cares about his child. He doesn't want his child to go wayward. He doesn't want his child to make a grave error where they can end up losing their lives. He wants his children to be honorable, to be respectful. And this is supposed to be normal in the family of Yisrael. The Most High has said that he has disciplined us, just like a man would discipline his child. So the time in which the Most High has afflicted his children is simply not because he didn't love them, it's because he wanted to do them good in the end. He understands his children. They're his children. He wants them to know who he is. Therefore, you have to use whatever means is necessary. Now, every child is a little different. All of Israel is not the same. Some of us is going to take a little bit more than others. But we all share some of the same, common traits because we are related. Okay. There was a warning that you found in your Torah portion. So we have that correction. We have provision. Now we're talking about a warning. The Most High has given a warning to us. He's told us to be careful not to forget Yahweh, your Elohim, by not obeying his commandments, his rulings, and his regulations that I'm giving you today. This is a very solemn warning. Israel has a problem of remembering. That's why he uses the word remember all the time. He's telling us, forgetting Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, where you lived as slaves. See, when you and I forget the Most High, you're going to do that through not obeying his commandments. The commandments is what causes you to remember. The commandments is what causes you to remember what he did for the children of Israel in Mitzrayim. Obeying his commandments reminds you of what he's done for our fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're supposed to honor the memory of our fathers, those who have been obedient to the Most High. We're supposed to remember what the Most High has done, all of his works that he has done. But we have a problem where we have a very short-term memory. They forgot. They forgot what he's done for them. They forgot that he set them apart from all other peoples. They forgot that he destroyed their enemies. They forgot that he fed them. It's just kind of like a child that grew up in your home and you took care of them since they were a brand new baby. And you brought them home and you nursed them and you changed their diapers and all these sorts of things. You cared for them. They were sick and you changed them and, bathed them and fed them. And when they were sick, you held them and slept with them and, you protected them and you trained them and you invested all type of time and energy and resources into this individual, and then they turn around after all that you've done for them, and they forget. They jump up in your face and tell you that, I don't have to listen to what you have to say. When you speak to them, they don't respond. They forget and have forgotten who you are. They are forgotten of all the things that you have done for them. And that's a travesty. And that's what Israel has done. They have forgotten that the Most High is the one who brought them out. They have forgotten that they were slaves. They forgot the one who led them through the vast, fearsome desert with the poisonous snakes and scorpions and waterless, thirsty ground, and who brought water out from the flint rock for you. Israel has forgotten. In your Torah portion, it dealt with this idea of testing. Testing. The Most High has used this opportunity of defiance by the children of Israel to test them. This is the reason why he fed them in the desert with manna that was unknown to their ancestors, all the while humbling and testing you in order to do good, to do you good in the end. We don't understand what Yah's purpose is. We just don't like the fact that we have to go through a process of humiliation and testing. Nothing is worth having if you can't test it. Even in any type of business model, you have to test it. Any creation of a product, you have to test it. Any new creation of a certain type of food or dessert, you have to get it tested. Any type of vehicle that you drive, it has to be tested. It has to be found to be reliable. It has to be found to be what you would say dependable. You don't want to put out a bad product, okay? That's what it is. It has to go through these stages of testing. If you don't put it to the test, and then something happens, you're the one who's going to look like the fool. If you put together a website and you don't test it before you roll it out, you're the one who's going to look terrible. It's going to be bad. You have to test it. You have to test individuals that come into your life. You have to test them to find out if they're going to be loyal to you. Are they worthy of your relationship? Are they worthy of your time? You're looking for a mate, you have to test that mate. Whether it's a male or female, they should be tested. See, we've gotten away from the idea of what we need to do in order to protect ourselves. This idea of testing is from the Most High. The Most High will send of somebody that's a false prophet who will be able to perform miracles just to test us, to find out if we truly love him. The Most High sent us into exile to test us, to find out if we're going to keep his commandments or not, to find out if we're going to be loyal to him or we're going to be loyal to someone else. Testing is part of the process. Again, I often talk about mindset because your mindset is reflective of your character and your thoughts that you have. In your Torah portion that was connected to your Torah portion, in the book of Psalms, in chapter number 73, it told us something about how we act with the Most High. It's what we think. What you think is how you act, is what you're going to do. It says, when I had a sour attitude and I felt strung by pained emotions, I was too stupid to understand. I did not know that I was like a brute beast with you. This is in the Psalms. And it's written by Asaph. And he's talking about how his attitude towards the Most High was and how he experienced the Most High. This idea of being stupid here is being brutish. It means being contrary and stubborn. One of the things that we have a problem with is that when the Most High is trying to make changes in our lives, we keep wanting to buck up against him. We keep acting like a beast that you can't even control. You put a chain or some type of rope on their neck. Have you ever had a dog and try to, get it to walk down the street and to behave itself, and it's just going, it's moving its neck and it just doesn't want to stop. It's bent on doing what it wants to do. This is how we have behaved with the Most High. This is why this psalmist here said that I was too stupid. I was too brutish to understand. I don't even know. Okay. I didn't even know. I did not know. I did not know. Not that I knew that I was acting this way. I did not know that I was like a brute beast with you. You see? And that's because of the sour attitude about what the Most High has said. A lot of us don't like what the Most High said. We want to make excuses on why we don't have to do what he says. Why you feel the way that you feel. Why do you think the way that you think? You have a right to feel the way you want to feel. I have a right to think the way I want to think. I'm here to tell you today that that's really what you would call being stupid. It's really being like a brute beast. Most High has said that is because my people are foolish. And you can find this in the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 4, verse number 22. It says, because my people are foolish. They do not know me. That's the reason why we don't know them, is because we're foolish. They are stupid children without understanding, wise when doing evil, but they don't know how to do good. I want to talk to you briefly about what this word foolish really means and what does this word stupid really mean in Hebrew. Okay? Because I know people don't like to hear the word, you stupid. No, he says that you're stupid, but let's really find out what it means. Okay? What does it mean to be foolish? They don't know me. They're foolish. Let's deal with that one first. In Hebrew, it says, ki iwil ami dioti. Okay? This key right here is for, he says, for these people, right? The ami right here is my people. This is with me or directed towards me. Okay. The othi is towards me. Okay. They're ewel. Okay. This ewel here is foolishness. Okay. That's what it means. Okay. It means to be foolish. But what about Hebraically? What does it mean Hebraically? Let's see. So Hebraically is this idea of being without. It means to be without. Okay. So what I want you and I to understand is what the Most High is saying. When he says in my people, for ki iwil, or iwil ami, the othi, and he says, my people, for my people are foolish, right? He's saying, my people without me. This right here is me. Without me, my people without me are foolish. The thing is, foolish means when you don't have Yah with you and you're not listening to what he says, and you and I are not taking the counsel of the Most High, you and I are fools. We can't do anything without Yah. Hear me and hear me well. If we try to attempt to do anything without the Most High, we're foolish. You're not designed to do anything without Yahweh. You understand? They didn't do anything without Yah. They didn't conquer those other nations that were greater, more militarily designed and strategic than them, more powerful than them. They couldn't do it without Yah. They couldn't defeat their oppressors without Yah. You will not defeat your enemies without Yah. I didn't choose you because you're the greatest people. I didn't choose you because the more numerous the people. I chose you because you're the smallest and the weakest. Without Yah, you won't have any wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Without Yah, you won't have any gain. Without Yah, you won't have any self-respect. Without Yah, you won't have any wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Without Yah, there is no mercy. Without him, there is no forgiveness. There is no defeating of anybody. There is no fear of the nations that are put on us. There is no progress. There is no real wealth without Yah. That's what makes us foolish. They are stupid children without understanding, wise when doing evil, but they don't know how to do good. Some translations said that they're really wise at doing evil, and they don't want to know how to do good. They want to stay stupid. What does it mean here to be stupid? Listen to this carefully. Bani Sakalim. Banim means children, which you can see, I told you earlier about the word for wisdom means to build. Understanding means to build, which comes off of these two letters right here. Like Bana, this is Banim, has to do with sons and daughters. The first letter has to do with the house. The second letter right here has to do with continuation. The continuing of the house is the sons. If your sons are screwed up, then your household is going to be screwed up. They're going to go ahead and find somebody that's not going to help your family. You understand? The sa, ka, lim has to do with this word sakal right here. Okay? And you would spell that S-A-K-A-L. Okay? The S right here is for this letter right here. The K right here is for this K right here. The L right here is for that lamed right there. Okay? They're just letters that you've never seen, or you've seen them, but you don't remember that these are just letters. They're S's and they're K's and they're L's. And they're I's and they're M's. You just got to know what the letter looks like. But the Sakalim, Hema, that these are the ones, these sons or these children are Sakalim. So to find out if they're stupid, we want to find out, what does it mean to be stupid? Okay. Not just from an abstract Greek mindset, but from what the Most High sees it. The way the Most High sees to be stupid is to be confident. They're confident in their own abilities. They're confident in what they think. They're confident in what their achievements are. They have confidence in themselves. They don't have any confidence in the Most High. Oh, they don't have no confidence in him. Zippo. Oh boy. That should have been. Pull it back here again. Sorry about that. That's the problem. They don't have any confidence in the Creator. That's why he says that they're stupid. Because they're putting all their confidence in their own ability. The sakal actually has to do with the one's loins, okay? And that is the part of the body in which you have most of your strength, the ability to squat or the ability to hold something or walk with something of great weight. It's in their legs. It's in the upper part of their thighs. It's not the lower part, it's the upper part, the loins, okay? So that's where that's where your strength comes from. You know, when you throw a baseball or a football or anything, you're running, it comes from that. It comes from that power that's there. So their confidence is in their own abilities. So this is the problem with Israel, which trickles down to the problem with you and I. Which that problem is stemmed in arrogance, which you find in your Torah portion. Arrogance is it's a dream killer. That's what it is. Arrogance is a dream killer. It assassinates one's character. Everything that you work for is often, it means nothing. Okay. It means that you think to yourself more higher than what you should. Your Torah portion said, you will think to yourself, my own power and my strength of my own hand have gotten me this wealth. Your affluence, your ability to prosper, you think is because of you. Not just them. The reason why they were able to have the wealth that they had is because the Most High was keeping his word that he swore to their fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. One of the worst things that you and I can do is to think to ourselves that it's by my own power. It's by my own clock. It's by my own strength of my own hand. Everything that I've done, I've accomplished has gotten me this wealth that I have. Yah tells us if we forget about him, then we will surely disappear off of the earth and out of that land before we know it. We don't need to forget Yah. Yah is the one who has granted us the ability to have success. He's the only one. And he doesn't want us to forget him, in our successes. In your accomplishments, Yah is the one who's supposed to be glorified. It's not by the strength of your own loins. It's not by the strength of your own hand. It's not by how smart you are. It's by Yah's mercy and his compassion. Yah does not allow the arrogant to be in his presence. Don't think to yourself after Elohim has pushed them out ahead of you, it is a reward for my own righteousness, my righteousness that Yahweh has brought me in to take possession of this land. No, it's not because you're Batsid Kwatika. It's not because of your pursuit. You have not pursued Yah. I haven't pursued Yah because I wanted to pursue Yah. It has been Yah who has pursued me. It has been Yah that has pursued you. You and I will take possession of nothing if it had not been for Yah. Told the children of Israel, don't be afraid of crossing into this land because Yah was going ahead of you to destroy these people and to humble them in front of you. That's how special you and I are to the Most High. But even no matter how special we are, no matter how much he loves us, we have to keep this arrogance in check in front of the Most High. When we think that we know more than someone else, and we're bragging and with a different type of attitude and a certain arrogance that goes along with it, we start talking to people with a certain type of tone, like we're talking down to them because I know more than you. We mistreat other people because we know more than them. We're haughty. Most High says, stop it. I don't want anyone around me that's haughty. Yah puts down the prideful, but he gives grace to the humble. Do you understand the reason why the Most High has said that I'm going to humble you? I'm going to humble you in order to make sure that you get the grace and the mercy and the compassion that I want to give to you. I can't give that to you when you're walking around with your chest stuck out in front of me. 6 things the Most High hates, and 7 things is an abomination to him. Number 1 is a haughty look. You're walking around thinking that you're all that in front of the Most High. You think you're walking in front of people. You're walking in front of the Most High. You're in his presence. We need to learn how to humble ourselves. That is what you call a reality check. We have to live in reality. We have to live in our existence and have to be honest and truthful to what it really is. What is it? Yah wants to let us know, therefore, and understand it is not for your righteousness that Yahweh your Elohim is giving you this good land to possess, for you are a stiff-necked people. That ain't talking about me, Akika. I ain't there. That's a whole nother discussion. The reality is that we are a Kiam Koshe Oref Atah. We are a stiff-necked people. That's what Kiam means. Am is people. Koshe means a stiff-neckedness of Oref. That's what you are. The Atah right there is you. You are Atah. Little Hebrew for you. Atah. That's you. What are you? You are a stiff-necked people. You are a stiff-necked people. Kiam Koshe. Kiam Koshe Oref. What does he mean? What does the Most High mean? When he talks about us being a koshe is a stalks of grain. He's saying that your neck is just as hard as stacks of grain. When you stack grain up, you bind it and you tie it up. And then at that moment, you can't bend it. It's too thick. You can't bend it and bend it in half. It's like, it's bound. It's firm. There's nothing that can to bend it. Can't bend it. It's unrelenting. It just won't bend. It's too tough. Most High saying that's what you're like to me. He uses agriculture to teach us what our problems are, people. You can try to force your way to bend some grain, some stalks of grain, but it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to break it. You got to chop it, or you got to release the cord around it that's binding it. But it said in your Torah portion, and only Yahweh took enough pleasure in your ancestors to love them and choose their descendants after them. Yourselves above all peoples, as he still does today. Even though you and I are these stiff-necked people, Yah still chose us because he loved our ancestors. He loved them, and he chose their ancestors and their descendants, which is you and I. For you are a people that are set apart for Yahweh. Even though you're stiff-necked people, you're still a set-apart people. For Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh your Elohim has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his own unique treasure. I want to share a little bit about that for you. Earlier, I told you were a Kiam Koshe. Here it says you're a Kiam Kodesh. A Kiam, Kwadosh. Diatah. That's what you are. So you're stiff-necked people that Most High is having difficulty to get you to bend, and you're unrelenting in your ways. But then he also says that you're a Kiam Kodoshatah. You're a set-apart people to Yahweh Eloheka. That's what you are too. You see? You are a very unique person. You're a very unique people. That means that there is no one like you. You're a rarity. There's no one like you. In spite of your stiff-neckedness, that's a quality that you have, a character trait that has to be dealt with, which will be dealt with. But you're very unique. And in spite of that, the Most High still chose you. He didn't choose you to accept the stiff-neckedness. He chose you because he wants you to obtain a higher level of character. I want to give you a character that no one else on the face of this earth has. I want to give you a law and a statute and a commandment that only the divine know. I want to give you a land that's the most beautiful lands of all lands out of all the earth. I want to give you the rain and the heavens to give her rain to you at the time that I appoint to it. For I look upon the land. Oh, praise be to the living Elohim. He said, I look upon the land from the beginning of the year to the end to provide his early rains and his latter rain. I want you to be unique in your conversation. I want it to be unlike anything anyone has ever heard in their lives. When they look at you, I want them to see your uniqueness. I wanted them to see the distinction that I've made in you. That requires love. That requires guardianship. That requires loyalty to the Most High. You and I will not be able to attain this if we continue to go around with uncircumcised hearts. We will never be able to obtain this if we can continue in our stiff-neckedness. We were commanded to circumcise the foreskin of our heart, meaning to change your mind. Do something different. Change your mindset. Don't be stiff-necked any longer. Don't let your neck be unwilling to turn and to go in the direction that the Most High has asked us to go. And only you can make that decision for yourself. This is not something the Most High is going to do for us. There's things that the Most High is going to do, and there's things that you have to do. You can either stay a kosher, which is a stiff-necked, unyielding person, rebellious. You found in your Torah portion, talked about you've been this way since Yah brought you out of the land of Egypt. You've been a marim. You've been a very bitter person towards the Most High. You've been very reluctant and unyielding and unbending towards the Most High. Or you can go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to adopt and adapt to the Kodesh, meaning the uniqueness that the Most High wants me to be. It is your choice. That's your choice. Yah has already made the choice that I love you and I chose you. Now it's your time. Now it's your opportunity to make the decisions that you need to make that's going to be best for you and your family. There was a request that was made in your Torah portion. So now, Yisrael, what does Yahweh, your Elohim, ask from you? But to fear Yahweh, your Elohim, follow all his ways, love him, and serve Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart and all your being. And to obey for your own good the commandments, the regulations of Yahweh, which I'm giving you today. You have a duty and a responsibility as a request from the Most High. He cannot force you to fear him. He cannot force you to follow him. He cannot force you to love him. He cannot force you to serve him. He cannot force you to obey him. It is up to you. It is you. It's up to you. Who wants to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't show them any respect? You can beg for it all you want. It's not going to happen. Why would the Most High want somebody that's not willing to trust him to follow the ways that he said that this is what the way I want you to go? Why, when I say let's go to the north, you want to go to the south? Why am I dragging you down the road so you can be unique? Why? Why do I need to beg you to love me? After everything you've seen, after all the faithfulness that the Most High has done for us, he has to beg us to love him? He has to twist our arms or squeeze us in some type of way? He didn't bring us out into the wilderness to force us to love him. He brought us out there to show his love. Ooh! And in his love is correction. But nobody wants that type of love. When you talk about loving him, he's talking about with all your soul and all your mind. I want your thoughts. I want your being. You have to relinquish that willingly. Just like I wasn't willing to destroy you, you have to be willing to serve me and to love me. What's wrong with obeying Yah? It's for our own good. Yah has introduced himself to us to bring this into our lives so you and I can experience the best life possible. Which he says, I haven't shared this with any other nations except for you. And anyone else who wants to join themselves with you would benefit from it if they join themselves with the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. Which in your Haftarah, I told you that I chose you to be a light to the nations. That's my goal and desire, is to get everybody on the same accord. But out of all the peoples on the face of the earth, I chose you to behold this uniqueness and this distinction from among. You're the only kind like this. Out of all the kinds that I've made of humanity, you're the one. But you got to give something. You got to give me your heart. You have to give it all to me. You got to give me everything. I want you to learn. I want you to follow. I want you to love. I want you to serve, and I want you to obey. Because you're not loving and fearing and following and serving and obeying a tyrant. You're following someone who has your best interest at heart. I'm the one who's provided for you from day one. I called you before you were even born. What is the conclusion? The conclusion is that you and I have to ask ourselves a question. Whom do I have in heaven but you? Who do you and I have in the heavens but Yahweh? Nobody. And with you, I desired none on the earth. I'm not looking for anyone else. I'm not looking to be in a relationship with nobody else. I'm not looking to fear nobody except for Yah. I'm not following nobody else. I'm not giving them all my heart, my soul. I'm not giving them my thoughts. I'm not giving them my time. I'm not obeying them. I'm not serving them. I'm not falling down and worshiping nobody but Yah. My mind and my body may fail. It will. But Elohim is the rock for my mind and my portion forever. Yahweh is the refuge. He's the place. He's the portion, the territory, the divided place that has been set apart for us to go to forever. Your mind has to have somewhere to go and somewhere to resort to. Because those who are far from you will perish. If you're not making Yahweh your portion and you're not drawing near to the Most High, you're going far from him. And the individual that is far from him is the one that Yahweh will destroy. Because you will destroy all who adulterously leave you. That means that they have put distance between themselves and the Most High. They have put distance between him and their lifestyle. They don't want to have anything to do with him. They don't want to worship him. They don't want to serve him. They don't want to obey him. They don't want to love him. They don't want to fear him. They want to go on their own way. They have removed themselves away from the Most High. The moment that you and I move away from the Most High, it is like an act of adultery. The moment we seek something or someone else, it is an idolatrous act, and we know that they will be destroyed. But for me, the nearness of Elohim is my good. I have made the Supreme Master Yahweh my refuge, so that I can tell of all your works. You and I can never, with 100% confidence and surety, mention the works of Yahweh without making him our refuge. When he talks about his works, it's talking about everything that the Most High has done, that he's demonstrated, and he's displayed in front of the eyes of the nations and in front of the eyes of the children of Israel. And what he has done through our lines of our kings and our prophets and our priests, what our children have seen, what our ancestors have experienced. These are things that are supposed to be passed on from generation to generation and generation and generation to talk about what Yahweh has done. So now we see the purpose of being near to the Most High. Being near to the Most High is going to be for your good. He only wants you to be around him so you can tell about all of his works, because it's been him the whole time. Your Torah portion is about Yahweh's works. Moshe goes through it, chapters number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And he talks about everything the Most High has done. Talked about how many years they were in the wilderness. He talks about the way that he fed them. He talks about how he corrected them. He talks about how they ate bread. He talks about the enemies that they would destroy. He talks about how these other nations were more superior than them. He talks about it's not because of your righteousness that Yah is doing this. He talks about how you have been complainers over the last 40 years, and the Most High has forgiven us for making the golden calf and breaking the first covenant, and then deciding to continue with us by going and writing another set of the Hadavarim, which is the Eseret Hadavarim, the additional 10 words. Talks about Yah's forgiveness. It talks about how we have encamped with the Most High. How Yah has provided food, clothing, and shelter. How the Most High has given wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. How the Most High has given the rains, and how the Most High is going to give them the land, and how the Most High remembered his promises. It's the Most High's works. It is his power. It's his wealth. It all belongs to him. But it's through our nearness to him, by pursuing the Most High and actively seeking him, it will be for your good. You found it in your Torah portion, so it will go well with you. That means tov. That means it would function well. You and I have to make Yahweh, we have to set the Master as our place that we have gone to find our shelter. When we get there, we praise him and we thank him for what he has done. Your Torah portion for next week is called Re'eh, Deuteronomy chapter number 11, verse number 26, all the way to chapter number 16, verse number 17. Re'eh, and Re'eh means to see. Moshe is going to continue to talk about the things that they have seen and that he wants them to see. Your Haftarah is Yashayahu, chapter number 54, verse number 11, all the way to chapter number 55, verse number 5. I would encourage you to go a couple of steps further on 55, because verse 6 and 7 and 8 tells you about the Most High and how he forgives freely. The Psalms is also going to be part of your learning experience this coming up week. You're going to begin in chapter number 104 of Psalms, and you're going to read all the way to chapter 134. I say Shabbat Shalom to you. And I would like to continue with our instruction by having you participate in what we would call our cahoots, our learning program, where we get you to think about what you've learned over the last week and kind of solidify it in your mind. It's fun, it's active. Let me see here. It's loading up right quick. Let me close a lot of these windows here so we can get some better access. I want to thank all of you for taking the time today to come on the Shabbat and giving me your attention and your time. The Most High is to be praised and to be worshiped today. He is supposed to be glorified and thanked and to be remembered. Let me see. We're almost there, you guys. I got in trouble last time because I did some stuff to the cahoots. I changed it some of the times on it, so it was going a little faster. So the administrator has given me clear instructions not to change anything that she has done. So I don't want to get in trouble. So I will not be doing anything outside of what I have been commanded to. Let's see. Come on. Hold on. It's loading, you guys. Let me see here. Okay.
Dawid, can you send me the cahoots? I don't have it, and I don't. Could you send it to me so I can
Yeah,
get it,
sure. I have real
participate?
Yeah, I have her, let's see. Oh, so, okay, on your device, what you want to do is, let me see if I can resume the screen right quick to show you. Yeah, I want you to participate.
I was gonna say, we still see your teaching.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
We still see your teaching on there.
yeah, I'm gonna try to pull this up right quick for everyone. Hold on for just a second. Having some technical challenges, but let's see. Sharing the screen, here it is, cahoots. Okay. So what you want to do, Ak, is you want to go to the website, okay? And the website that you want to go to is called not the www. You see it right here. What does it require? Is it www? Let's see. I'm gonna start it right quick. It'll tell you. It'll pop up.
When you,
Yeah, here it is.
when you start,
Yes, right here.
it, yeah, it'll
There
tell
it is.
you.
All right. So Dawid, so what you see right there, it says join at kahoot.it, okay? And so you can put that on your computer. You can put that on your phone, you can put that on your tablet. Once you get there, you can actually put in the game pin number. It's going to ask you for this number that you see right here, 532-8332. There we are, Shamayim. Look, she has.
Okay, say that.